Hi everybody, welcome back to Fiberflies. Today we're going to add another one to our soft hackle series, and we are going to tie a pheasant tail soft hackle. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and attach the thread, again, right at the eye. Coincidentally, we are using a partridge size 14 Sproat barbless hook. And we're going to add some copper wire for the rib. Again, we're going to tie that on the far side, slightly underneath, so that the rib will come out of the bottom of the fly when we wrap it. We're going to take that down just about where the point in the barb would be. We're going to grab our pheasant tail right here, and we're going to want 6 or so fibers. Now this particular version is not going to have a tail. So I want to take the tips of my fingers and I want to measure those so that they're just a little shy of the eye of the hook. Trim those just a tad bit. And do a soft loop where I put the thread in between my fingers. Go underneath the hook shank and then pull straight up to tighten it up. 2 of those would be good just to tighten it up. Here's one little trick I like to use before I wrap this pheasant tail. Since the fibers are so fragile, I like to add just a little dab of head cement, and then just spiral wrap the thread up the body. We'll use our bobbin hook cradle to get those out of the way. Now I'm going to counter wrap the fibers of the pheasant just because I like my rib to go in the normal direction. So I'm going to be nice and gentle, counter wrapping all the way up to about right there, about 2/3 of the way up the hook-ish. I'm going to tie that off, a couple crossing wraps. Get that bobbin cradle out of the way. Okay, and I'll just trim the excess waste material off. And now I'm going to take my rib, no more than 4, maybe 5 turns at the most, taking the rib up the body. There's 1, that's 2, 3, 4. I want that to end right about where your thorax would be. And we'll cross our thread over top of that wire and tie it off. If you can see, I'm taking that wire right along my side of the hook shank. That kind of creates a shoulder so that I can tie on the hackle really easy. If I was going to do a winged wet fly, it provides a good stable platform for the wing. But now we're going to add a thorax. A lot of times people with a pheasant tail will put peacock pearl for the thorax. Well, at Fiberflies, we've got an alpaca mixed with an ultraviolet flash that I really like. So for my thorax, I'm going to use my dark olive color right here. You can see it sparkling. It's got some ultraviolet flash mixed in. I like to use that because 1, kind of imitates the color of the bug, and 2, it also has some flashing mixed in there. Now I'm going to use just a little bit. I don't want a whole lot. I'm just going to spin it on there, dubbing. Just doing a twist dubbing. And I want to build up my thorax. You can cover up a little bit of your body. That's fine. You want a pretty fat thorax. Nothing over chunky. You don't want to make it look disproportionate, but you want a fairly hefty thorax, because what you're trying to do is make it look like the bug is crawling out of the shuck of the niffle case there. Alright, so I think that'll about do it right there. Peel that back just a tad. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and choose a feather from my partridge cape. I want one that's Not too big. There we go. There's one right there. Don't want it too big. Just big enough to work with. The thing with soft hackle flies is you want to make sure that they are really sparse. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the tip of the feather and preen those fibers back. And I'm going to find the right size for my feather fibers. And right about there is good. So then all the stuff that I'm not going to use down below that area, I'm going to trim away, because I don't want all those excess long fibers in my fly. But I'm not going to quite trim all the way. I want to leave some of that fluff on there, so I've got a handle to hold on to. And I like to trim these instead of, especially with partridge, I like to trim them because the feather stem is so fragile. If you were to try to pull them away, a lot of times you end up breaking them until you just really figure out how much pressure you can apply. So now I've pulled back a lot of the fibers away from the tip, and that tip is going to be used for the tie-in point right here, this little V that it makes. Peel those fibers back, and I got the little V. Whoops, got a little poker there. Now I'm going to hold the feather on my side of the hook shank with the tip of the feather pointed down towards the base of my vise at about a 45-degree angle, just like this. And I'm pinching the feather, I'm pinching the hook. I'm going to bring the thread right up in between my fingers, nice and gentle. Pinching the thread, go underneath the hook and then straight back up. And I'm going to tug and tighten that up just a tad. I want to pull my feather back just a little bit so that I've got some bare stem. And then I'm going to go, that's 1 wrap, 2 wraps, 3 wraps back towards the thorax. Take my index finger or my thumb, or both, peel the fibers of the tip back towards the thorax, and then go 1, 2, 3 forward. Alright, what that does is it locks that feather in. And then I just simply trim away the waste. Now I'm going to take my little hackle pliers. You can get these at Radio Shack in the electronics department. Nice little things for soft hackles. It's a spring clip. Grabs a hold of the stem pretty good. So now I've got a hold of the stem. I hold it straight up. I'm going to take my fingers, get them wet just a tad bit, lick them, and I'll pull them back very gently. Start to go around. I'm going to take my index finger and hold those fibers next to the hook shank on the far side. Pinch them. Drop the hackle pliers. Grab them from the bottom and continue to go around. That's 1 full turn right there. Do that again. Bring it up onto my side. Raise the thread to 90 degrees, or to straight up. Fold the stem over 90 degrees. Continue around with my thread. 1, 2. Now I want to release that. Take my finger and I'm going to pull all these fibers back, just like so. And now I'm going to start to create my head. And if you see what I'm doing, I'm locking down that stem. Okay, take that stem, just break it away. And now all we got to do is whip finish. So, just like on most of my videos that I use head cement, I like to apply the cement to the maybe 3/4 of an inch of the thread before I whip finish. That way I make sure that it gets all underneath all the thread wraps and everything. And apply a whip finish. Snug it down just a tad bit. And trim off your thread. Now let me show you real quick. When you trim off your thread, instead of going and snipping it, if you use your thread just like a razor blade, place it on that, or if you use your scissors like a razor blade, place the blade on the thread and just kind of angle the thread and slightly push with your scissors. You get a nice neat cut. You don't have any any possibility of anything else. And there we have it. That is the Pheasant Tail PD for pack-a-dub soft tackle. Let's go catch some fish with it.